Man, these chicks really don't care about getting paid at all. Why Dijonai Carrington? I don't even gotta ask why. They know why. It's always gonna be a shakedown. Always gonna be a shakedown simply because Caitlin Clark is a white girl. This, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Jim Trotter, a guy who's been race baiting for the longest, and hey, a lot of black folks don't like to hear that stuff because they want to. A lot of black folks see everything through the eyes of race, and like I've talked about over and over again, the issues that they've experienced, that black people and the ancestors and everything have experienced in the past are real, but they don't understand the game and the reasoning why. They don't understand socialism. They don't understand Marxism. They don't understand why a lot of their leaders became socialist, were socialist and Marxist, right? And how socialism and Marxism takes the future of their community out of their hands to where they're always reliant on the government, right? But a lot of folks don't understand that. Sometimes when you explain that to them, they don't want to hear that because they've already been conditioned by the same folks who have brought the oppression. Now those same folks are bringing the solution, the Hegelian dialectic. So that's how it works. And a lot of black folks, everybody's trying to be activists and everything like that and trying to jump out the window and get out there and fight for everything. And they don't even understand that they're contributing to more government power, to the socialism and Marxism, because it splits everybody up. More people, you hating capitalism. More people are less likely to work together because you have a different political ideology. Whatever your race is, I don't like you for whatever reason it may be, or your perception of what it may be. Your just anything, your sexuality, they've broken everybody, your gender, they've broken people up in just the little pieces as far as society, and so nobody's willing to work together. So, and in turn, you can't create a free, open market that competes with the government, government-funded industry, right? And they're able to maintain their monopolies on everything, and y'all just go along with it. Y'all, when shit happens, y'all complain and y'all blame it on everything else except the source, right? So this is a lot of stuff that folks and a lot of these activists, they think that they're fighting for the people, but they're actually contributing to the quote-unquote man, right? People like Dijonai Carrington, when they're going out here and they using all these social terms, they're talking about, she's not standing up for racism, not standing up for xenophobia, homophobia, and that word I talked about, that word, intersectionality. These are the biggest just Marxist buzzwords there are. And then somebody called her out on just using a bunch of word salad and those cliche words, right? Somebody called her out on it, and she talks about, I'm educated. I've got a degree in African American studies and stuff. And black folks in the comments section talking about, she cooked them. She cooked that person, whoever said what they said. She cooked them. Not even understanding, like, bro, that's oh man. You're basically clowning yourself, dog. Black folks are going to think that's a burn, but for the rest of the world, not all black folks, but to the rest of the world, it's like, nah, that's not that's not what you think it is, man. But back to what it was all about. Her issue was with Caitlin Clark not initially having anything to say about, fans who were using her name for, they saying racism or, just saying mean things online, basically, right?
It seems no matter what you do or what is done to you, it becomes a topic nationally. And a lot of times it becomes divisive. I wonder from your standpoint how you feel about people using your name in whatever culture wars or whatever wars they're fighting. How do you feel about that?
it's not something I can control. So, you know, I don't put too much thought and time into thinking about things like that. And to be honest, I don't see a lot of it. Like I've said, like, basketball is my job. Like, everything on the outside, I can't control that. So I'm not going to spend time thinking about that. You know, people can talk about what they want to talk about, create conversations about, you know, whatever it is. But I think for myself, like, you know, I'm just here to play basketball. I'm here to have fun. I'm trying to help our team win. Obviously, we've won 3 games, and, you know, we feel like we've been in a position to win a few more than that. And, you know, my focus is on helping us do that. But I don't, you know, pay much mind to all of that, to be honest.
How much do you think that it's impacted your ability to cultivate relationships within the league?
You know, I think everybody in the league understands, you know, one, we're excited about all this attention we're getting. I think we're appreciative of it. I think the league has been great for a really long time. But, you know, my focus is on my teammates. Like, they've been amazing. I don't think it's impacted me making relationships on my team. You know, I'm not obviously talking to people on other teams on a daily basis. Like, I have so much to focus on here, and, you know, getting my teammates to trust me and do all that is my main focus. Same with our coaching staff, and same with this organization. Yeah.
But I understand your focus, but I'm just curious, though, are you bothered that folks would attempt to weaponize your name in whatever fight they're fighting?
No, I don't see it. That's not where my focus is. Again, my focus is here and on basketball, and, you know, that's where it needs to be, and that's where it has been, and I'm just trying to get better on a daily basis.
And initially, Caitlin Clark, Jim Trotter, who, like I said, was race baiter, comes out of nowhere and is asking her these questions, not even focused on basketball. And it's all because the media's hatred for this girl. The media just have, like, everybody's talking like the media's pushing her. No, the media's been trying to shit on these girls. It's the people who've been representing the WNBA have been black people. It's been black women, and it's been black women mainly, right? And they use this passive aggressive. They try to act like, oh, we're not doing nothing, but it's this passive aggressive angle that they're taking with Caitlin Clark, you know what I'm saying, where they're really hating on her. And instead of asking her, you know, keeping it about basketball, it's basically ask her about the her quote unquote fans who are, you know, who are supporting her but spewing hatred online, right? And she says she hasn't seen any of it, because Caitlin Clark, I think she said it before, like, she's not really online. She's not online like that. She doesn't pay attention to all this crap like everybody else is, trying to be popular and trying to engage with the people. Like, she's just focused on basketball, right? So she really doesn't see it, right? And Jim Trotter still trying to nudge at her. So you don't have nothing to say. You don't have anything to say. You don't see it. Of course, when you say you don't see it, you know, them folks, they gonna take it as, oh, you don't see, like, it's like a person saying, I don't see race. Like, and then that triggers people, right? And all of that shit. So that has them mad. But then another reporter who was right there within the interview, is more specific and ask her, you know, so there's people that are using your name to spew particular type of things, and they're more specific on what these quote unquote supporters are saying. And Caitlin Clark comes out and denounces it.
Caitlin, I know you mentioned that, you know, you want to focus straight on basketball. Definitely respect that. But when, just asking you directly, when people use your name for racism, misogyny, whatever, what is your response to that specifically?
Yeah, I think it's disappointing. I think, you know, everybody in our world, you know, deserves the same amount of respect. The women on our league deserve the same amount of respect. So people should not be using my name to push those agendas. It's disappointing. You know, it's not acceptable. But yeah, I mean, this league is a league I grew up admiring and wanting to be a part of. Like, some of the women in this league were my biggest idols and role models growing up, and helped me want to achieve this moment right here that I get to play in every single night. So just treating every single woman in this league with the same amount of respect, I think, is just a basic human thing that everybody should do. Like, you know, just be a kind person and treat them, you know, how you would want to be treated. And I think it's, you know, very simple.
Says, you know, the game is for everybody, and there's no room for any of that, right? She comes out and denounces it. Now, it's funny that they're asking her about this, but they're not asking Angel Reese or anybody else about the fans who started the shit. You know what I'm saying? They're saying racist shit to Caitlin Clark and being hateful to her. I mean, just 24/7 on every single post, anything that has to do with Caitlin Clark. It's, man, they hate this girl, man, right? Then she's experiencing all the little slick crap that they doing within the league. Like, it's all. I'm not the one that sit up there and calls everything racist, right? And black folks hate when I do that, right? But it was the same thing for when those fouls and everything was happening, the Kennedy Carter and, you know, and even Dijonai Carrington's foul that she had earlier in the week on Caitlin Clark when they played. Like, I'm not going to sit up there and, you know, everybody online's talking about, oh, it's racist. I wasn't going to jump out the window, because to call something racist, you need more evidence of that. You need to understand a person's ideology and what they think about a particular color or just or maybe just a person, right? So I wasn't going to just jump out the window. A lot of stuff like that, when people calling somebody racist, when it's normal, it's interaction between two humans, but the fact that it's two different races, one may be a white person and one may be a black person, well, because the white person got the best of them, or the white person said something mean to the black person, he's automatically a racist. When we see black people or just whoever, people arguing and talking shit to each other all the time, right? But the more these WNBA players, you know, speak out and they expose themselves online, it shows you that it's from some underlying crap. Like when you see Angel Reese, hey, I take back what I said in that video about Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky embracing the villain, and where I said, like, hey, it wasn't a racial aspect to the foul or anything like that. Because then when you see Angel Reese jumping up, I'm not even going to say for Kennedy Carter, right? I'm not even going to say for Kennedy Carter, but for Angel Reese jumping up out of her seat the way she did, and then, over congratulating Kennedy Carter, right? Then Kennedy Carter talking about she don't want to talk about it after the game, then goes online and talks about what does she bring other than 3-point shooting to the game, right? Do you think, it doesn't matter if it's true or not, do you think Kennedy Carter would have been doing that if it was a black girl, right? Y'all can talk about all the fouls, and there's been hard fouls. Angel Reese got effed up by Alyssa Thomas and all of that, but you didn't see a bunch of people celebrating. You know what I'm saying? You didn't see a bunch of people celebrating and congratulating that on the side, and all these other hard fouls. I'm not even saying every hard foul that Caitlin Clark has received, right? But those in particular, that right there, Angel Reese jumping up with the slick shit Kennedy Carter saying afterwards. Then you got Dijonai Carrington, where she stood up there mocking Caitlin Clark on the foul that she got called on Caitlin Clark, and she's sitting there mocking her in the middle of the court, right? And you think, like, okay, hey, these girls hate her, but you don't have enough evidence, you don't have enough information to pin that on Dijonai Carter, right? You want to believe that, hey, it's just all within the flow of the game, but then you see this crap to where she's calling out Caitlin Clark and basically trying to imply that Caitlin Clark's with racism and all of that stuff. Like, yo, the whole thing is foolish. Caitlin Clark, she shouldn't even answer that shit at all, bruh. She shouldn't have answered this stuff, but this is how they twist them white girls' arms. Hey, black folks be twisting white folks' arms. Hey, you got to go out and denounce this and denounce that and all of that. Like, but they won't denounce. But they don't got to denounce anything, right? They don't got to denounce anything. So it's crazy. But if you do say something and you kowtow to black folks like Cameron Brink, the whatever she was talking about, a lot of people read that interview and I think they're viewing that whole thing wrong, because I don't even understand what she's saying. I don't know if she's talking about just white privilege, in general, or is she talking about looks, or I don't know what she's talking about. If you actually read the interview, it's confusing, because I mean, if she's talking about looks and being accepted for being feminine and all of that, having an advantage at that, I mean, People look at Angel Reese. There's a few WNBA players who look good. I'm talking about black women, and they're gaining a fan base based off of that, right? So, Cameron Brink got to talking about, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, talking about her teammates go by, they, them, and I don't even understand what Cameron Brink was saying. And then you got, it's just been just countless things, man. They always refer back to Paige Beckers and her speech on stage. Man, you got Asia Wilson, where they were at the previous tournament, and you got Asia Wilson sitting on the sideline talking to Kelsey Plum and talking about. And see, that's why I like Paige. She understands. She's just like you, Kelsey. She understands her privilege and all of that.
Us as black women, age reminds me a lot of you. Like, you say you're not really about me. And she knows how her privilege has gotten her to that point. And also, like, she's good at basketball, obviously. But, like, she understands her privilege. It's like, it pushes her over the top, in a sense. It reminds me a lot of you. And I mean, that's a compliment.
Right. And they can't say anything. The white girls can't say, like, get the fuck out of here with all of that, because they don't want to be ostracized from the league. They don't want to get looked at as racist, so they're gonna always go along with it. They don't want to go through what Caitlin Clark is going through right now, so they're always gonna go along with it. Y'all inviting them to barbecues and all of this crap, and their responses aren't even real. That's not even their real response. It's not how they feel. They just going along to get along. Y'all don't know nothing about these people, their backgrounds and stuff like that. And then you just ignore some of the players, people like Asia Wilson, people who grow up. Just because they black doesn't mean you grew up in poverty or anything like that. Like, a lot of these players come from privileged backgrounds. That's how they're able to cultivate their skills and all of that stuff. Not every black person is coming from the streets. Now, the stuff that happened back then, if you want to talk about, it's not white privilege, it's white opportunity, right? Of course, there's more white people here in the country, and then and then just economically there's more opportunity. Name a black person, name a black person you can go to right now and get a job. It's not that many, but most of the places that you do apply at are going to be white owned. And that's just the reality. But it's about opportunity. But that doesn't guarantee success for a white person. But when you're closed in, when you talk in echo chambers all the time, this is just how you see the world. And you don't even get out, meet different people, understand their stories, and it's a lot going on out here that's way bigger than just your very limited knowledge of how the world works. But Caitlin Clark shouldn't have to say nothing. She's a basketball player. I'm not even for basketball. Like, I want people to speak their minds and speak out on actual injustice. Don't devalue the shit by calling everything racist, but I want people to speak out on injustices. But that means universally. And be able to call out the right stuff. But a lot of these folks are young people. They see the world how they see it. So they're not even educated or experienced enough to speak out on particular things. And then some of the stuff that are true injustices here in America, they don't even speak on. It doesn't even cross their damn radar, right? I'd rather all these damn basketball players, doesn't matter, you black, white, whoever, I'd rather y'all shut the hell up and play basketball. Because otherwise you're going to be looking stupid like a lot of these WNBA players just continuously make themselves look by speaking out all the time. But because they have an audience, because they have an audience online, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these folks aren't watching their games. Yes, there's been a level of growth, but not come on. They're set to lose 50 million this year. A lot of the ones who's had a exponential growth as the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark and her games, right? That's not to say that there hasn't been growth and some other teams haven't been selling out games, and Las Vegas Aces and New York Liberty. Yes, there's been that. But but the growth has been, the primary growth has been Caitlin Clark, the growth to where you can say, we might be seeing something here, right? The other ones, their popularity is online with a bunch of people who aren't going to support them. And that goes for both sides. For the folks who are talking shit about Caitlin Clark and the folks who are talking crap and they don't like nothing that Angel Reese or anything any of these black players are doing. Like the conservative folks. I'm not even going to say like just because there's a lot of folks snapping back because of the crap that's being talked about Caitlin Clark. But I'm talking about some of the conservative media or whatnot that may have latched themselves to this. They're not going to the games. They're not watching the games. A lot of people don't give a damn about women's basketball. The people that you see there at the games and the people who are the viewers are people who actually like basketball. The rest of these folks are just jawing and running their mouths online, and they're not spending no money and they're not contributing to the growth of the sport, right? And and once again, these women for the 25 plus years, another year in a row that they're gonna lose money. A charity league, right? So I'd rather them shut the hell up and understand how business works, right? You can't have it both ways and say, oh, I want to do what I want. I want to be able to do what I want and say what I want, but not be, but you still like me. You still give me your dollars. I'm entitled to your money. Like, that's not how life works. The same thing, even what I was talking about when I said, hey, there's more white business owners, and where people gonna be applying for jobs, it's mainly white people who own these businesses. Now imagine you sitting online all day. These people are supposed to be representing black people, right? But you're sitting online talking about white people are racist and white people need to do this and all of this, and black people can't be racist and shit like that, right? It doesn't matter if what's fair or not. You're sitting online, this is the perception of you, and then you go and you're putting in an application and you think you're going to have a better chance at receiving the job. I know a lot of people going to look at this like, so I'm supposed to coon or tap dance for the man. Listen, this is why a lot of folks need fathers in their life, real men who've experienced stuff, and not women, not these women-led, the matriarchal type of ideologies that lead off of emotion. The men will tell you what it really is. You're not gonna, it doesn't work like that. If you want to be able to do what you want, then you need to be owning your shit. You need to have control of everything. Right? You can't just say whatever you want to say and then go and talking crap about a person. That doesn't, no matter race or anything, and then go and say, hey, can I have a job or can you help me? Like, and this is the stuff that black people aren't understanding online. You're asking for reparations and stuff. How does reparations come into play? Through tax dollars. You think a bunch of people that you're calling racist and saying they can be racist no matter what and they're privileged and all of this crap, you think they're going to take their tax dollars and transfer them over to you? Or you'll just have the Federal Reserve implant more money into the system, and then it will all celebrate, and then we'll wonder why, inflation keeps going even more sky high. But outside of all that, just the whole tweet, just the response, the questions by Jim Trotter, and I hate all of that baiting and stuff. It's that same stuff that reporter, I think he was from Outkick, or somebody did to Don Staley.
Debate, discussion topic about the inclusion of transgender athletes, biological males, in women's sports. I was wondering if you would tell me your position on that issue.
Damn, you got deep on me, didn't you? I'm under the opinion of if you're a woman, you should play. If you consider yourself a woman and you want to play sports or vice versa, you should be able to play. That's my opinion. You want me to go deeper?
Do you think transgender women should be able to participate?
That's your question.
In
You want me
basketball?
to ask? I mean, you want to ask, so I'll give you that. Yes. So now the barnstorm of people are going to flood my timeline and be a distraction to me on one of the biggest days of our game, and I'm okay with that. I really am.
I didn't agree when they did it to her. She didn't even know how to answer the question. It didn't matter what type of answer that she gave when it came to the whole trans and should men play in women's league and all of that crap, like, which I believe they shouldn't. But as far as Dawn Staley, it didn't matter how she answered that question. It was going to go bad on whichever side, depending on how she answered that question. And so she was stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you could tell she was uncomfortable. Well, it's the same stuff with these old baiting type of questions. Like, I hate that crap. Keep it about basketball, right? Keep it about basketball. Didn't have to ask that. This girl is doing nothing. She's spoken about. She's tried to make concessions to black folks plenty of times. You had her on SNL when she's talking about her heroes and people who inspired basketball after black people were complaining, talking about Caitlin Clark and the people who really brought fame to women's basketball and all of that, and who grew the sport. And Caitlin Clark named those same exact people. Hey, in reality, y'all need to be how do y'all leave out the NBA? How do y'all leave out Michael Jordan when talking about who grew women's basketball? Y'all haven't made money. Y'all are a charity league. The Kobe Bryants, the Shaquille O'Neals, right? Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. They're the ones who grew your sport. You didn't make no money. You've made nothing, right? Just like these women who had this entitled opinion and had these entitled views and spouting all type of crap online and talking about men are this, men are that, and meanwhile men are paving their highways, men that created their sewer systems, their homes, all of this crap. But men are pieces of shit and men are worthless, and I'd rather be with the bear than around men, and all of this just silliness, man. Silliness. And this is no slight toward women or anything like that, but just a lot of this stuff, y'all just don't realize just how silly people have gotten. Silly people have gotten, and how y'all are feeding into the agenda. Y'all ain't fighting against it. Y'all are feeding into the agenda. So, you don't want nobody, you can't have it both ways. You want to talk your crap, you want to say whatever, try to, you don't like her because it just happened to be a white girl that's the one that's bringing the eyes to the league. Like I said, you wouldn't have a problem if it was a black girl. But if this is the way that you want it, y'all in this collectively. Don't complain in the future about revenue and your money and all of this, like your contracts. Like, don't complain. Don't complain. And the NBA still probably gonna break y'all off something, because shoot, they still probably gonna do, even though their viewership is going down within the recent years, because whether it was wrong or right, they cut off a large percentage of their viewership with some of the views that they had and that they were representing on the court, to the point to where Adam Silver was for it at first, but then he had to step in and say, nah, we can't do this no more, or y'all won't be getting paid. It's that simple. They need to do the same thing with the WNBA. Somebody needs to step in and say something to these women, because that's emotional. It is what it is. I'll holler at y'all later, man. This stuff has just been so just amusing, man, and just, you watching a whole bunch of people thinking, just the amount of people that think they're on the right side of history, man. It's funny. It's funny. Ignorance is bliss, and the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Remember that. It's the Grit Culture. I'll holler at y'all later.